Welcome to the CQN podcast, A Celtic State of Mind. I'm John Dykes, and this week's show on the Quality Street Gang is dedicated to the memory of the late Paul Wilson. As I mentioned in part 1, Paul travelled with the Quality Street Kids to northern Italy in 1968 to play in a prestigious youth tournament. When I started writing a book on this audacious group of youngsters in 2010, I made it my mission to track down those 19 players who made up the Celtic Goals travelling party to Casal Monferrato. It took me 7 years to trace them, and this included long distance calls to such destinations as the United States and Canada. You may notice from the timeline that some of the interviews came along after the book was published. Such is the way with these things sometimes. However, I managed to speak to Lou McCarry, Danny McGrain, Kenny Dalglish, Davy Hay, George Conley and Paul Wilson before we went to print, and a segment of Kenny's interview is included in this week's podcast. There are a further 3 interviews with ex-Celts of the 1960s and 70s this week, 2 Lisbon lines and a record signing. I felt when I was writing the book that it was important to get the views of players who were senior pros during the time that the Quality Street Gang emerged from Barrowfield. There were 2 other things that I didn't manage to get before the book was published: a copy of the programme from the youth tournament and the exact origins of the Quality Street Gang name. I'm delighted to say that I now have both, and the story of the nickname will come a little later in the show. The tournament programme was given to me by one of the players from that group, John Murray. John is in the photograph which adorns the back cover of the Quality Street Gang, and he's in the front row, second from the right. The programme is entirely in Italian, which I shouldn't really be surprised about, but there is one fantastic rare team photo of the Quality Street Kids in there, and it's an image I certainly haven't seen before. John Murray, who played right back during that tournament, has become a close friend of mine through writing this book, and it was through John that I was introduced to several of the ex-players from that era. One such introduction was to Bobby Lennox, one of Celtic's greatest ever goal scorers. After the Lisbon Lions, you had another new crop of players coming through with Kenny and Danny. What was your memories of the Quality Street Gang coming through, Bobby?
I thought they were terrific, all the boys, Danny, Kenny, Big George, Davy, Victor. They looked real talented boys. But I think, and it's not for me to say, but I think they could have kept the older team a year or 2 longer and let the boys get through better, a wee bit better, But they were always going to be super players because they were great young lads. And all good lads as well, all willing to listen and learn.
Well, I was going to ask, how did you and your teammates assist these young guys coming through? Were you able to help them on the training pitch?
Well, I'd need to say they were easy to help because they had natural ability and they were dead keen to learn. I mean, Kenny and Danny and boys like that, they were just... Nothing was a problem for them. I played wide a few games in training games. You played against Danny and you think, well, I'm an experienced player, I've got a European Cup medal, I've played for Scotland against England at Wembley. But this boy wants to kick me and he wants to run me off the box. I mean, they were just wanting to learn whatever they could. They were just great.
Now, when you were up at Barrowfield training, often there might have been a first team against a second team match, and some of your teammates say that was the hardest game you played all week. Would you go with that?
Oh, they could play that. They really could. But I think Big Jock mixed the teams quite a lot, and they'd get into our team, and so they were used to playing with the guys. But they were, as I keep saying this, they were all terrific talents.
Back in 1969, here at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final, Bobby, against Rangers 4-0, it was a special day for you and George Connolly. What can you remember about that day and George's performance?
He just took it so casual and so easy. George has great ability. I mean, he was wonderful with the ball at his feet, and he was so laid back. I mean, for the third goal, he just got the ball around the goal and put it in the net as if I'm just up the park here. It was he was just great. So cool, Big George.
Not long after that, there was a huge disappointment in the European Cup final in 1970.
I thought we'd get to that.
Now, there's been a lot said and written about the reasons behind the loss. In your view, what's your memories of the game, and what do you think Celtic could have done differently?
I think we didn't play particularly well on the night, and I think Fallon did play well on the night. I thought they deserved to win the cup on the night, but I still feel had we got to the final whistle with a draw, we could have maybe done better in a replay. But everybody thought, well, certainties. But I know that most of the guys didn't think we were certain, because we knew you don't get to European Cup final and be a bad team, so we knew we had a game in our hands, and we scored first. And I think the worst thing that happened was they scored quite quickly after us, if I remember rightly, and that didn't help. And then, as I say, they scored right at the death, and it was all over then, you know.
Do you think after that game, after that defeat, Bobby, that perhaps the boss looked at the team and said he was going to maybe start bleeding some of the youngsters in? Was that a big pivotal moment in that?
Well, we didn't think that, but obviously it was when you see the team changing so quickly after that. But there's a lot of experience in the team, and they boys needed the experience to help them coming through. But I suppose that was a defining moment when they decided we better start bringing the boys through.
One of the big things when you look back, Bobby, is the loyalty of the Lisbon Lions. You've all had very lengthy careers at Celtic, but unfortunately some of the younger guys were sold on. If we were able to keep maybe McCarry and David Hay and Kenny Dalglish together, what do you think they might have achieved?
Well, you just never know. Football's a strange game. You know, teams get better and better, clubs get stronger and stronger. So you're really not sure what's going to happen in the future in football. It's a hard thing to say. But they guys were great, so they could have got better. But I still feel as though they needed some more experienced guys round about them. Naturally, a few of the boys left at the one time, which probably to let the young boys through. But I don't know if it helped the club or not.
One of the unfortunate things was George Connolly leaving Celtic, and again, how big a loss do you think he was to Celtic and Scottish football in general?
I think Big George could have done anything. He could have achieved anything. But how would I say? Some days he came to the park and wasn't up for it, didn't feel right up for it. He was a bit strange at times. Lovely guy. I mean, I thought he was terrific. But I think George could have been a great player, better than he was if he'd stayed longer. But he just, what can you say? It's your personality.
And of course, Danny McGrain, fantastic career. He was still playing when you came back to do your coaching at Celtic. Bobby, of course.
Never liked him.
Do you think he was Celtic's last world-class player?
At that time, Danny could have played in any team. Danny was world-class, there's no doubt about that. He was. I like saying this, he was a wonderful goal scorer as well. I think he thought he scored 8 goals or something. I love kidding him on about that. But Danny was the man. I thought Danny was great, and a great captain as well. The evergreen Bobby Lennox was great company and such a humble human being when I met him a few years ago at Hampden Park. It was a real honour for me to be in the same room as this Celtic legend, who was a tormentor of many goalkeepers the world over. Now, goalkeepers was something the Celtic reserve side weren't famed for, and we seemed to go through a lot of goalies. Jim Harkins, Tommy Livingston and Bobby Wraith, to name a few. But the Quality Street gang didn't produce one who went on to make any lasting impression in the first team. Lisbon Lion John Fallon often played alongside the Quality Street gang, as did many of the first team squad who had spells in the reserve side. Here are some of Big John's memories of the young team.
Well, that was a build-up from the Kelly kids. I was brought up with the Kelly kids and we came into the team. And then it was like a 6-year, 7-year period. And then these kids came in. Kenny came in, Louis came in, Danny came in, Vic Davidson, young David Hay, Davy Catanack, George Conley, John Gorman, another boy that never came in. What a team that was, you know, great. And when you maybe go and play with them in a mid-week game or away down at Carlisle or away somewhere. And playing with these kids, they were absolutely brilliant. You know, they could play football. What a squad it was.
What was the bounce games like up at Barrafield between the first team and the second?
Oh, it was always, come on boys, we've got to beat this mob. They're not that good. You know, the youngins, the youngs had no fear of the Lisbon squad. They said, we were better than yous, we'll do yous. You know, that was the right way. And Big Joe liked that competition. And it's good, you know, it built them up. So when they went on the field, they were ready, and then you had nearly egging them on as well. Come on, they were like, you can do better, you come on, beat this mob. They're old men now, come on. You know, but the Quality Street gang were, they were something to behold, you know, when you think. And yeah, it split up so quick.
That takes us on to that period where it started
terrible.
John, what do you think, if Steen had managed to keep them together, what do you think Celtic could have achieved?
they'd have achieved more than us. They would have achieved more than us. They were a right, quality. They were well named Quality Street. The cream of the top. Just I remember a couple of games. I know that certain football club will not like them, but they played them in a couple of cup finals and gave them an absolute doing about 3 times. Really done them in. In fact, played 69, the Glasgow Cup final, and Big Jock says, right, we'll play younger ones because it was near the cup final, and I played, and can't remember who else for the Scottish Cup final team, but the rest of them was the Quality Street kids, and we got beat 4-3, and Rangers had played a full team almost. And I'll tell you, I hung on that night, and that shows you how good that team was.
The 1970 European Cup final comes a wee bit after that. What's your memories of that, John? And in your opinion, what went wrong, and why did Celtic not win that cup final?
That is one of the biggest mysteries I know. It's a real mystery. I don't know if Jock overplayed that. Thought the way we were going to just go on the field, if that was the sort of impression he gave, I don't worry about this and don't worry about that, you go out and do this and do that, and but that final team, what a team that was, to think, an unknown team, just the same as the Celtic were in 67, unknown. So Inter Milan got what we got. I just go on the field and we'll do this and we'll do that, and I think that was the biggest injury we ever overcompensated. We're better than them. We got a right kicking up the proverbial.
A lot of people think that was a bit of a watershed moment, and some of the youngsters were then started to be drafted in. When you think of people like Danny McGrain and Kenny Dalglish, John, how, in terms of the players you played alongside, how highly do you regard these two guys?
They were absolutely brilliant, these boys. Fantastic players. I mentioned John Gorman. He went for buttons to Carlisle and then £1 million to Tottenham. And he played with Tottenham, a great player. Wee Louis went to Man United. George Conley just drifted away. But Kenny had everything, Kenny was brilliant. Danny was a great fullback. It's a honour for Danny can play any fullback position. He was accommodated, for Sandy Jardine. Danny had to go to left back. Kenny could play anywhere in the midfield. He was a wee boy, full of his own abilities. He knew what he could do. Great wee player.
So you mentioned the Kelly kids, the Lions and the Quality Street gang, John. 3 generations of Celtic youngsters coming through the ranks. What was the secret to Celtic success back then, producing their own players?
I think at the time there was luck involved, because you got a cream of boys in till we were 15, 16, and we just gradually brought through. If you think I had about 200 games, and I'm still here about 12 seasons. 200 games is a lot of games, but there's some years you never played. A couple of seasons you were in and then you were out. Because I remember when I first went in with Neely and them playing, I played for so long, and then all of a sudden I was out, no reason, and somebody would say to you, you're in for so long, and then you come out, and then you come in. And that's what happened for a few years to 65. So then you sort of said, oh, you're a mainstay now. But they would gradually build you in, and I think Big Jock done that with the Quality Street kids too. He bedded them in, a couple of games, giving them experience. We played a lot of mid-week football games. So every team it was never the first team or second team, it was a mixture. And that's how you were bedded in. You were taught to play this way.
When we look at the players that came through from you right up to your Kenny Dalglish, etc., you seem to be the only homegrown goalkeeper that came in and kept the jersey. Mm-hmm. Why do you think Steen couldn't produce another young goalkeeper?
I don't know. Probably I was lucky. I think if I came, I counted it once, there was about 26 goalkeepers if I played till and I remember saying to Big Joe, he didn't like it. I said, you wouldn't know a goalkeeper if you've seen one. But Jock had us as boys, you know, that's how, when Jock came back, we knew what was coming. As soon as he came back for Hibs, we knew right away how we were playing. In fact, one of his first games, we got slaughtered by Hibs at Parkhead, and you came into the dressing room, it was a midweek game, and you were expecting a really dressing down. He turned round, and I remember saying it, he says, in 2 weeks' time, you'll be playing the same way. We went to Easter Road and demolished them. Just be playing. You got his system back in quick, you got players in who wanted to play. That's what he done. And he tried to teach that to the Quality Street kids as well. But I was amazed at, you know, talk about the Quality Street kids was great.
One of the boys you mentioned, George Connolly, how sad was his premature exit from the club, and what could he have achieved?
He could have achieved greatness. George could, he played here at outside right in the 4-0 Cup final, he strolled through it. And then I played with him at centre half, I played with him in the stroll through games. He was a Beckenbauer. If you Andy can remember how Beckenbauer played with the Germans. Big George strolled about the back of it, just cleaned up everything, and then passed the ball. But on, it's just simply, I believe that there was rumours that Man United were strong favourites to sign him, and one of the London clubs, but Man United was chasing him. I think Dock was there at the time. There were strong rumours that, and just think what would have happened if he had went to Man United. How great he could have been there as well.
When interviewing ex-players for the Quality Street Gang, I asked each of them to a man about the origins of that name. Some, like George Connolly and Danny McGrain, recalled that it had something to do with the TV adverts for the Macintosh sweet selection, and John Gorman was convinced that Lou McCarry came up with the nickname, a theory that wee Louis dispelled reluctantly. So why were this talented group of footballers called the Quality Street Gang?
This is the gang, the Quality Street Gang, and this is their street, Quality Street. That's the boss in the purple suit. Looks smooth enough, but deep down, he's a real hard nut. There's Baby, soft, as strawberries and cream, the boss's favourite dish. That's Tropical Sam, the professor, Fudge, everybody knows Fudge. Fruithead, TNT, he's cracking, Champ. Tub. And there's Lemon, that's Irish, otherwise known as Toffee Pack. Remember them. Remember, they're a sweet bunch of characters in the Quality Street Gang.
In the 1960s, Yorkshire Films were commissioned by Macintoshes to produce a series of TV adverts for their popular Quality Street chocolates. The first advert, aired in 1967 no less, was called Introduction to the Quality Street Gang. This series of adverts dramatised the personality of each individual sweet into a person, a character if you like. The unifying feature of these personalities was that they were a gang, and indeed many of the characters dressed like Bugsy Malone gangsters. The advert's tagline was, "They're a sweet bunch of characters in the Quality Street Gang. They always do things with such style." And so was born a popular nickname for any stylish gang of the 60s and 70s. One such dapper gang drank in the Clifton Grange Hotel in Manchester. Philomena Linnett, mother of Thin Lizzy's Phil, was the licensee, and the bar was an infamous haunt for footballers and gangsters alike. One night, some of the gang entered the pub suited up, and were met with the jibe, "Who do you think you are, the Quality Street Gang?" And the name stuck. Manchester's Quality Street Gang were regulars at the Clifton Grange, and Phil Lennox later paid homage to them in Thin Lizzy's songs including "The Boys Are Back in Town." As well as enjoying a drink, the Quality Street Gang were also regularly involved in a bounce match on a Sunday. George Best was known to show up from time to time, and the team were managed by none other than Paddy Crerand. Now, familiar with the phrase from his Manchester kickabouts, when Crerand made his regular visits up to Celtic Park and spotted this group of youngsters as thick as thieves and trying to outfox the Lisbon Lions, he was heard one day to comment, "Who do they think they are? The Quality Street Gang." He couldn't have called it better. Nicknames have always been a term of endearment in football circles. Just from the guests on this episode, for example, we've had Buzzbomb Bobby Lennox and the original Holy Goalie John Fallon. Next up is Tommy Tid Callaghan, also affectionately known as the Logelli Pelly. Tommy, when we think back to Celtic winning the European Cup, and Jock Stein's actions after that to add to the squads, you were brought in domestically and the young boys came through as well. Could you talk us through how Jock strengthened the Lisbon squad?
Well, he was a very, very, I'm not saying a fortunate manager, but he had a lot of skill coming through, and not to bum my chat here, he signed me, I think that was his first signing after the European Cup final, and I was delighted at that. And I always remember that when I started at Celtic, I was in the team regularly, and then I had a wee lapse and I was in the reserve team, and I played along with the Dalglish, Connolly, Hay, Macari, Davidson, and at times I couldn't get a kick at the ball because of these wee guys all wanted to score goals, and every one of them did score goals. So Big Jock was very lucky to have these guys coming through, and I think I played in that team for about half a season actually. I had quite a hard time breaking back into the team, and I think the experience that I gained playing with these guys, I mean, I used to travel with George Conley every day coming from Fife, and Big Geordie was just a nice big fella. He was just a quiet big guy, but all George wanted to do was play football. He was just one of these guys that, to give him a ball, I'm not wanting to train, just give me a ball, and he was brilliant. And the rest of the Quality Street kids, they just all came through. I think he got half a team out of them actually. Wee Louis went to Manchester, Kenny went to Liverpool eventually, Danny stayed, which was, I thought was absolutely brilliant, because to me Danny was the best right back in the world in his day, and Danny could have went anywhere, but he stayed with Celtic, which was absolutely brilliant.
You mentioned some of the Quality Street kids there, Tommy, and you obviously played as an experienced member of the first team in the reserves alongside them. Who were the ones in terms of ability that stood out for you at that time as youngsters?
Well, the main man at that time for me was Louis Macari, because Louis was just a prolific goal scorer. Louis could score goals for anywhere in the box, which was absolutely brilliant for a wee striker in the box. Wish we could see them today, you know what I mean. Kenny was younger coming through, but I think he wasn't really what you would call established in the second team. But Danny had it, Davy Hay had it. So there's 3-4 people who were all went on to become Scottish international players. A credit to the club and a credit to themselves, you know.
When you were up at Barrafield training and you had two squads of players with the Lions and the Quality Street Gang, often it's said that there would be bounce matches, Tom.
Yeah.
What's your memories then? How competitive was that? How much were the kids learning from the Lions?
I think the competitive word is actually the word that's used, because some of these games were, you know, we're going to get right into this mob today. Some of the youngsters would play and they would beat the first team, which was an absolute dream for them. We've just thumped the Lisbon Lions, you know. But that was all part of Big Jock's bringing them into the first team environment, if you like. And all these guys, they weren't that long on their own that they were in with the first team training. So, and Big Jock had that way that everybody trains together. So he brought them in, and they came. I think that was they made it quicker actually into the first team, doing that kind of mixing with the first team.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned somebody who became friendly in George, and one of George's finest early moments was in the Scottish Cup final in 1969 against Rangers.
That's right.
What's your memories of that game?
I've got a great memory of that game because I wasn't playing, right? But I always remember the first goal, Big Billy, a header, and he was away above, and the boy underneath him was Fergie. So Fergie wasn't too happy at that, or Rangers weren't too happy at that, and I think Fergie moved on kind of after that actually. And I always remember Big Geordie getting his goal when he walks round. That's the word he used. I mean, it was like a dancer. He walks round the keeper and just stuck it away. He was so good, Geordie. He was so good. It was an absolute shame what happened to him, because he was just a perfectionist actually on the park.
You mentioned about what happened to George. What, in your opinion, could he have achieved if he had played into maybe his late 20s into his 30s at Celtic?
No, he could have done. He could have. You rate him again like other players, right? And obviously George was a similarity to. He wasn't as good a defender as him, but Bobby Moore type thing. Now Bobby Moore was my hero. He was a fantastic player, and George was a fantastic player until it happened, and it was sad to see it, going away. And I'm saying that's a sin. Everybody spoke to Geordie about it, but it just wasn't to be. It's a shame actually. Nice big fella, but it just wasn't to be.
Going back a wee bit before then, Tommy, after the 69 Scottish Cup final, Celtic reached European Cup final again in 1970.
Yeah.
What's your memories of the build-up to that game and actually what happened on the night?
The build-up, we had a wee bit of hassle that particular time because we were all getting accused of chasing money, which was a lot of nonsense actually. I think that was the days of the agents coming into Scotland for a wee while, but that wasn't really. It was a farce actually, that side of it, to be honest with you. But the build-up, it was fine. The build-up was okay. And it was just your usual. It was a European Cup final. Their second one, which would have been absolutely brilliant if we made it, but we didn't. The build-up was fine. But I think the team that we played against, maybe we underestimated them a wee bit, because they were a very, very good team. And they proved it on the night. I mean, we started well with Big Tam scoring a goal, and we're saying, here we go. I was on the bench that night with Harry Hood and Jim Craig, and I thought this was it, we're away, but unfortunately we're not. But that's just how it goes.
Do you think at that stage then, I know that some of the college kids had already started making appearances.
Yeah.
Was Joe looking at the squad then and thinking, I can flood some of these youngsters in? Was that the moment that he might have realised that?
I think that's that. The wording you've got there is right, blood them in, because he would play them in the first team and then take them out and make them hungry to get back in. And he always said that. He says, I'll put them in, young boy, no problem. But he would never put a young boy in a couple of games, brilliant, and keep the boy. He would take him out so that the boy would get hungry. Why am I not playing? Why am I not? And he did that with a few people.
You've spoken before about the bus journeys up to the games, and the kind of camaraderie between certain groups of players. What's your memories of that? How did that get you ready for a game?
Celtic bus was a great bus. I think every football bus was a great bus, because you've got your jokers, your pranksters, your guys. Now, as you say, you had your 2 seats in a bus, so it was Geordie and Davy, and it was a fantastic thing when we got a bus with a table in it, so we got a wee game of cards, and we had myself, Billy, Dennis Conn and Harry Hood, and we would have a nice wee game. It wasn't gambling, it was because we weren't good gamblers, and it was a nice wee game of cards that Mr. Mochan always kept his eye on. There was no money changing hands, But no, I mean, it was good. Everybody had their own person who you sat with. I mean, I room with Harry Hood for a sign to a left. So you were he put you with somebody that you thought you would get on with and whatever. And you got to know your man off a well, you know, off a well.
And on that bus, was there often a sing-song on the way up to the games, or?
We're always singing. I mean, you had guys like wee Jimmy, Bertie, who just wouldn't keep quiet. Wee Bertie would be singing from morning to night time. And once he started, everybody just joined in. The closer we got to Parkhead, the louder we got, and the louder wee Bertie got, and wee Jimmy, and they were fantastic singers as well, you know.
Great memories. Obviously, we came very close in 1970 to replicating the Celtic Cup, and there was a few semi-finals afterwards. Had Celtic kept that young team together and not let Louis, etc. leave, do you think Celtic could have achieved another European victory?
It's a hard question, that. If they had stayed together, maybe I would say maybe. I'm not going to say definitely they would have won the European Cup, because we had Big Jock was getting older as well. But when Louis left, it was quite a shock actually. And Kenny leaving was, you're saying, geez, but these guys were going to bigger and better things as they thought, you know. Kenny proved that. Louis did as well. But Kenny did no bad at the game when he went to Liverpool.
Tommy Callaghan was signed from Dunfermline in 1968, and it was against the Fife club that King Kenny Dalglish made his final appearance for Celtic before signing for Liverpool in 1977. I've been lucky enough to speak to Kenny on 2 occasions over the last few years, and he spoke passionately about Celtic during both interviews. It has been said that you should never meet your heroes, for they will only let you down. But this certainly wasn't the case with Kenny Dalglish. Here is part of one of these interviews where Kenny tells a very interesting tale about his Liverpool teammate Graham Souness.
I mean, Big Joe was encouraging at the same time as very disciplined and John, but he knew everybody that was there, and he knew the strength. He took an interest in it.
Yeah.
No one was there more on a day-to-day thing with Willie, so between the three of them, the three of them are very important. For me, they played as midfield, and then Big Jock pushed us up front. When it took 2 or 3 years, but sometimes you would be moved about as well.
Sure.
To educate yourself and make you understand what people in the position other than the one you were playing would expect from you. When you went back to playing that position.
Right, aye, absolutely.
Midfield players into the back four, or he'd put a midfield player up front, just to give them an idea of what was expected of you when you went back to play your normal position. The one thing that was really obvious for the very first day that Danny and I went up and started pre-season training, and I was at 16, I think Danny was a year older, 17.
Right.
I think the thing that struck you was the humility of the players.
Right.
That was the most important thing for us, and they never undermined any of the young boys that trained alongside them.
Brilliant.
Pre-season, everybody trained together, and then obviously when the season started, they would go, they do their training and we would do ours, but they never ever undermined you. They would have a laugh and a joke with you, or they stand and wait for a bus to get you lift into town, or
yes.
But they were always, and when you were coming in, if you were young and you were in the first team squad, one of them would make sure they picked you up and brought you in. So they were very good. Well, the quality of the players, as footballers, there for everybody to see. Some will judge it a bit differently for others, but for me, I think the judgment was that they missed people. And how they respected the kids, and they never dismissed the kids, and they never try to undermine them in any way. They'd have a laugh and a joke with you, but they'll never try to undermine you. For me, the abilities that they had just to play with them was an experience in itself.
Sure.
And the help you gave you was hugely appreciated.
Fantastic.
I don't think any of the boys get carried away with themselves. I think they just got on with what they had to do, and they really enjoyed the evolution and the success success that a lot of the players had. I think Tony was fantastically highly thought of, but it just didn't happen.
You've got mention of people like Graham Souness and that, coming up on a Tuesday and Thursday in training, and Jim Holton and players like that. Can you remember anybody else that maybe went elsewhere?
No, I remember Graham coming through to Edinburgh,
right,
training a couple of times. At that stage, I think that was just before we took to Cumbernauld.
Right.
And Danny went to Maryhill. That was just before we get palmed out to the junior clubs.
Right, yeah.
So Graham came just before the season that we all get palmed out. I think anyway. We went up there just at the end of one of the seasons. It might not necessarily worked out for Graham at Celtic. It's not to say because he was a success that, well, he started off at Tottenham, ended up Middlesbrough and came to Liverpool. It's not to say that because I could have said at Celtic it would be worked out the same for him. I think Graham was a fantastic footballer.
Sure.
But as I say, the path that he took proved to be the right one for him.
I was speaking to a lot of the players now, and Danny McGrain in particular, about this name, the Quality Street Gang. Can you remember people calling you that, journalists or anybody around the club, where that name came from?
I remember getting called a lot worse than that. I don't know how it came about. It was certainly none of the boys that gave themselves that. So somebody with a wee bit of fertile imagination must have done it, but it never meant anything to the boys, did they? Maybe get carried away with it. Well, we didn't care about the name. But certainly it was a fantastic group of players.
Sure, yeah.
The friendship, the camaraderie, the whole lot was brilliant, and all being in there at the same time, being roughly about the same age, was a great help as well. Fantastically happy memories, and the greatest memory I have of all is thinking to myself how lucky I was to go to the football club at that age.
Fantastic.
Fantastic people training us and working with us, and always fantastic players to play with.
Who better than Kenny Dalglish to conclude our two-part special on the Quality Street Gang? These podcasts have been dedicated to the memory of Paul Wilson, and will play out the show with a very appropriate song for the occasion. This is the Kinks with Days.
Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. I bless the light, I bless the light that lights on you, believe me. And though you're gone, you're with me every single day, believe me. Days I'll remember all my life, days when you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, but then I knew that very soon you'd leave me. But it's alright, now I'm not frightened of this world, believe me. I wish today would be tomorrow. The night is dark, it just brings sorrow, let it wait. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days I won't forget a single day, believe me. Days I remember all my life, days when you can't see wrong from right. You took my life, but then I knew that very soon you'd leave me. But it's alright, now I'm not frightened of this world, believe me. Thank you for the days, those endless days, those sacred days you gave me. I'm thinking of the days shines on you, believe me. And though you're gone, you're with me every single day, believe me.